Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Okay. All right, chat should be coming up on my side. Yeah, that was a bunch of technical difficulties. Y'all know how it is when I'm away for a while and this thing get the trip and all the security things going off. I'm still waiting for chat to come up. I know I'm live. This thing tripping. All right, tell you what, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna need this countdown to help me so I can have a couple minutes. Wait a minute, let me do this real quick.
OCO, freethinkers.
I broke down how they took our lands, when they took our lands. I even gave you verbatim government documents, time periods, and all. There's no excuse. And all those people that's yelling and screaming, talking about Africa this, Africa that, go there. We not stopping you. Go to Africa. Go live there. See if you can blend in. Ain't gonna be nobody standing there, welcome my brother, or you are American. There's no problem. Everything you need is here. Everything you need. Follow me. Ain't gonna be nothing like that, Slim. You gotta get in where you fit in, just like everybody else out there. You think it's gonna be a way better living in Africa? They fooled the people like that went on ahead and agreed with the American Colonization Society. They made pretend like it was gonna be a better way of living in West Africa because certain parts were not fully populated, but they were fully colonized. Oh, you gonna leave one colonized land to another one and think that's gonna be a better way of living? That's why it was less than 15,000 of them that went. Everybody else was like, kick rocks. What Negro problem?
OCO, freethinkers. You're now tuned into the realest historian on the planet.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
Relax and take notes.
He's here to make you think.
The Africans came way later, 1900s later. I put that on screen. We were not brought over here by way of slave ships. I put that on screen. I showed you that there was no such thing as a slave ship. I put that on screen. Number one, they couldn't come straight across the Atlantic with the ocean gyres there. They would be lost at sea. Number two, you're not about to fit 100, 200, nobody on a sailboat. They can't carry that much weight on a sailboat. Don't forget that they're calling them ships, but they were boats. Wherries, rowboats, those are small. The cargo ships came in the 1850s, and the first 3 cargo ships were owned by 3 different people, and those cargo ships were not being utilized commercially. The commercial use of the cargo ships came in the late 1850s. By that time, you had what, 10, 15 years more until slavery was allegedly abolished?
You are watching a master at work.
Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
We have been lied to about who we are. We're not African. None of us are. They got statue after statue up of Confederate soldiers, this, Union Army, that, this museum is this. You do not have the names of your heroes that enabled slavery the way that we were told. You're not telling us the names of the people that made it seem as if you won some type of war by capturing enslaved Africans and bringing them over here. And don't get it twisted, people came, but it wasn't you. Well, me and my wife tell you in these Statue of Liberty videos, but foreigners coming. But foreigners coming.
Motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
Once people get cognizant of what's going on, then yeah, we can make some changes because their stay is a temporary stay. The reason why is because if you look at the term resident, that means that's a person in transient status. That means that person has somewhere else to go. Yeah. That's not their original land. So this is what you're calling yourself when you're saying that you're a citizen. You're saying the same thing. A citizen is a resident. Resident is a person in transient status. That means you're there temporarily. That doesn't mean that you're there permanently. People are not tied to their states. They're tied to a state. Which one is that? It's 13 districts. So who was the head of the 13 districts? The corporation. So where was the corporation established? Washington, D.C. But wait, Washington, D.C. is not a state, right? So anybody that's a citizen, that means that you're stateless. If you're stateless, that means you're not tied to any state. That means you're not tied to their constitution. The reason why is because you're tied to the city of Washington as a citizen. So you're here temporarily by their paperwork. They're literally trying to take you off of your land. That's the enemy. That's how you point them out.
This man is unstoppable.
This is the second time it was changed. I'm going to show you all something. These are the manuscripts of the Virginia Company of London. Look closely at the quote here. It says 20 and odd Negroes, okay? The West Indies. This is talking about the West Indies, where they got it from. That's where they were going back and forth.
I will not be debating Dane Calloway.
Yeah, that boy's scared. That boy's scared.
The best teacher you wished you had in school. Have your pens and paper handy and get ready to take notes. Take notes. It's Dane Calloway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this thing. It's crazy because it's getting the glitching and everything, but we gonna work this out. We gonna work all this out. Let me make sure everything's straight here real quick. But y'all hear me good, right, chat? Y'all hear me good? You know, the little technical difficulties since I've been gone. We all right though, right? Okay. Yeah, don't be making fun of me. You know what I mean? Hey, but at least I'm not sick no more. So I could get to screaming tonight. You understand what I'm saying? Fire. I'm messing with you. I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna promise that though. All right, hold up. Let me make sure I got this over here. All right, boom. 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 All right. So we got that going. Hold up, I'm almost there. Almost there. Maybe I'm making sure everything's straight on my side, y'all. Making sure everything's straight on my side. Cause I'm gonna play a couple of videos tonight dealing with this topic right here because some of you guys requested me to do that and I'm here now and I want to talk about that now. Oh man, why is this thing moving so slow? Come on, bruh. Oh, that's why. It's looking for my passcode. Okay. All right. My bad. This thing was looking for my passcode the whole time. All right. And it should be good now. Yeah, see, I had to log in everything all again and the emails was ringing off and YouTube was like, hey, who is this? Logging into the account. They sent emails. I had to send in passcodes and all that. We should be straight now, though. We should be straight. I think that was the last thing I needed to send. Yep. All right. Okay, boom. So how's everybody doing? How y'all doing tonight? I know it's a late night. We're going to have fun, though. It's late night. But we're going to have fun tonight because I'm going to go over a couple of things. And I have that queued up now. I guess the first thing I want to, let me see. Matter of fact, yeah, let's warm up real quick, right? Let me shout out to these brothers. I'm going to start doing this more often. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy because I haven't been doing that. But I'm receiving text messages. But no, I'm just letting you guys know. Yeah, and everything is okay. I see everything. Everything on my side is okay. But I do see that where y'all showing support and love like that on different people's platforms and, you know, whether big or small, I appreciate all the love. Just know for a fact that that stuff gets sent to me and I see it. And one of them, I wanted to play with you all because it was a podcast. I want to be correct. I want to be correct on the name. I believe the name of the podcast is called Take Off Podcast.
You know who Dane?
Yep. Yeah, hold on. I'm pulling up the clip. So this was sent to me, and I want to play that real quick just to warm things up into the conversation we about to discuss tonight.
You know who Dane Calloway is?
The Calloway sounds familiar, but I can't say.
Dane Calloway, he has a theory that says Nat Turner never existed.
Shout out to Dane Calloway.
Oh, I can believe it.
Or Rosa, I want to say, not Rosa Parks.
No, Harriet Tubman.
He said those two people never existed. He even said all the pictures of Dane, of Nat Turner are actually older pictures of Frederick Douglass when he was younger.
Also, too, he's the one to claim to say that
I can see it.
the civil rights movement was a CIA operative, was CIA psyops.
It was.
See?
So it's just, again, people theories. Open your mind.
I can definitely believe it.
Yeah.
All the shit they was doing back in the day. And all of this shit is after. I mean, because regardless of what the Moors, I don't believe in the Moors and stuff like that.
This is a perfect segue into what we got to go into, too.
Marcus Garvey,
yeah. The Garvey
and they were still, like, even regardless, they were still connected to the government, X, Y, and Z. There are Africans that came over here or Arabs that came over here and trying to tell us X, Y, and Z. That's why I don't believe in them for real, because they were people
shout out to this sister
and told us, oh, well, you should be this, you should be that. And
hold on. Wait, they deserve a bomb. Yo, shout out to this sister and shout out to the brothers on this podcast, Take Off Podcast. Again, I am going to be doing more of this where people are talking, they talking about it and, and they bring my name up and stuff like that. I do show love, y'all. I don't want y'all to think that I got my, my nose stuffed up or, I'm not that type of person. I do show love. But shout out to the Take Off Podcast. And let me I like this point that she made right here.
Is after, because regardless of what the Moors, I don't believe in the Moors and stuff like that, but noble duality did come through this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Garvey did come through this bitch.
The Garvey
and they were still, like, even regardless, they were still connected to the government, X, Y, and Z. There are Africans that came over here or Arabs that came over here and trying to tell us X, Y, and Z. That's why I don't believe in them for real, because there were people that came from different places and told us,
perfect.
Oh, well, you should be this, you should be that, and it's all still wrong.
Can I ask you a question?
No, go ahead. No, I just want to mention Michael King. Look at Michael King, for instance. You know Michael King.
No, I don't.
Martin Luther King.
Oh, okay. I know about Michael King. Oh, yeah. Martin Luther King.
That was Martin Luther King's real name. Anyway, I digress.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to them. Like, so what we gonna do, I'm gonna get into it because what's going on is a lot of people are upset. Let me tell y'all what's going on. A lot of people are upset. They're gonna place the blame on Trump because Trump is getting rid of a lot of the misinformation that we have been taught and compulsory republic institutions. Compulsory. It was forced on you. What makes you think what they're teaching you is the truth? Keep in mind, you're talking about your enemy teaching you a curriculum that they came up with, and you want to back that up? You want to hold that so close to your heart, so dear to your heart, as if you created it. Everybody knows me by now. I'm an author, I'm a filmmaker, and an online content creator. I'm known for these, what you would call unconventional perspectives on America's history. This is how I gained prominence on YouTube. because I not only explored these topics, okay, I debunked a lot of these topics. The way to do that is proper researching using primary and secondary sources. We knocked it out the park. Slavery, reparations, immigration, American Indian history, all that. I'm challenging mainstream historical narratives. So it's even professors out there that back me up. Historians out there that back me up. They know I'm not playing. And then, hold on, and then in turn, let me say this part right here. There were also professors and historians that came online to talk or badmouth about, what I'm doing, right? They will over-exaggerate what I'm accomplishing, or misrepresenting it, rather. That's the proper word. Especially when I claim that the so-called, and proved that so-called African Americans are the descendants of American Indians. American Negro, the American Negroes are the American Indians, and were not Africans brought to the Americas via the transatlantic slave trade. Yes, I went viral because of that. I also helped that movement called Where Are the Slave Ships? Yes, I'm at the top of that movement. Yes, absolutely. You know why? Because I dared people to question the historical documentation of slave ships used during the transatlantic slave trade. In fact, let me play that clip real quick, because it is, it's making rounds on the internet. I've done this so many times, but this is the most recent clip that I'm going to play really quick. Let's play that real quick. Let me duck this music. And yeah, let me play that real quick. They wanted you to believe the false narrative that Europeans captured enslaved Africans from parts of Africa, an unfamiliar landmass to them, and forced them onto boats known as slave ships that never existed either. See, the quality of your life is based on the quality of the questions you ask, like comprehending how could they have survived the treacherous conditions of the Atlantic Ocean given the seasonal weather variations, and the Volta do Mar Largo, which this phrase means turn of the White Sea, referring to the oceanic rotation of the ocean's current. I killed them with this information. Even though I'm going back over it right here in this clip, they cannot debunk this. This is publicly verifiable evidence. This cannot be debunked. You can't come straight across the Atlantic with the ocean gyres there. You cannot. It's impossible. Which is known as an ocean gyre, which sits in the way of them attempting to travel across the Atlantic. It's like a tornado in the ocean that will sink anything in its path underwater. Stop giving these people credit for something that they didn't do. The transatlantic slave trade story that you were told is incorrect, because if it were correct, then they will be lost at sea. I could end the live stream right there. Right there. Because if it were correct, then they will be lost at sea. They won't be able to survive that. When you hear about the stories dealing with how we traveled, you never thought about questioning the exact routes they took to go from Europe to Africa, from Africa to the Americas. The depictions and all of the books and the curriculum inside of these schools displayed images or imagery out there in order for you to use your imagination to believe. And by the way, that's called conceptualism. And for you to believe that these so-called slave masters were able to get on a boat and travel straight across from Africa to the Americas with no problem. Then they turn around and tell you that Christopher Columbus had trouble. And you mean to tell me nobody else did? They said Christopher Columbus lost 3 boats, lost at sea. They never told you how he survived. They never told you what he did in order to land somewhere in the island of Haiti. Think about that. They let you fill in the blank. It's so many loopholes with American history. That's why I'm glad that the Trump administration has been paying attention to us for the past 8 years now. And they took us seriously back then. Shout out to Ice Cube. It's just that things needed to be groomed. Because when I showed you guys that we were dangling in your face with the Harriet Tubman situation, as far as making them the National Park Service take that down, and those Democrats got mad. In fact, I'll bring that up. Hold on, I'm jumping. I'll bring that up. Let me finish playing this video. I'm gonna bring that up. I'm coming back to that point right there.
Making the accomplishment of that task merely impossible.
'Cause I want to show you something.
Just like the idea that they were packed tightly on these ships with no room for food raises questions.
Bro, stop. Look at this picture. Well, how is that even? How is that even? I'm trying not to get hyped so early in this video, in this live stream. How, bruh? How? You packed like sardines in this joint. There's no way that you can survive that. Not even today. This day and age, there's no surviving that. Not only because of the fact that you got the ocean giants there, but packing yourself at the bottom of boats like that. Or they pack, like, first of all, how many people did it take in order for this to be structured in this way? Nobody revolted, nobody rebelled, nobody was killed, nobody was threatened. They just loosely tell you this story without any backing. Then they tell you it's numerous records out there. Not one time did they show you a record. Not one time. An article is not a record. A newspaper is not a record. I'm talking about of the transatlantic slave trade, AKA the Middle Passage. There's no record of that. None. They're telling you that it is, and they never showed you. Never. That's the problem. And our people fell for that. And thinking that we came from a whole nother landmass. Why? Because they wanted this landmass all for themselves. We're going to get into it.
Of that
We're going to get into it.
Merely impossible.
Oh, yeah. It's
Just
one of them
like
nights.
the idea that they were packed tightly on these ships with no room for food raises questions about how could they endure such a journey, which would take upwards of 90 days or more in one direction without dying from hunger, as there would be little to no space for provisions.
It would take 90 days or more going in one direction. That's still to this very day. If you take a trip on a cargo ship to Europe, that's 90 days or more right now by cargo ship. Right now. I remember one of my live streams, I even showed you all the website where you could book the cargo ship to go to places like Europe. You can't even book the cargo ship to go directly to Africa. They're going to take you in 2 to 3 places in Europe before they even get to the Bank of Africa. Listen to that. That's based on a route that they have to take. You have to travel along the shorelines to go around the ocean gyres. That will be dangerous. You will be eliminating yourself if you're traveling straight across. There's no such thing as traveling straight across. Not with the ocean gyres there. Think about it. Make it make sense. Logical sense. I'm pointing out their logical fallacies. I've been doing that for years. The reason why I went viral is because I elegantly broke things down and put it on screen. I made it simple enough so it could be easily caught. That's teaching, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I may have a background from being from a middle-class family, but lived in the hood. And I went to the best schools at that time in Washington, D.C. when I went to junior high and high school and shared the same books with so-called white people, so-called Latino people, so-called Asian people. So everybody got taught the exact same thing. Washington, D.C. I survived. And I was able to put what I learned on the internet and took it upon myself to say, you gonna learn just as well as I am. It was to the point where in the beginning, as I was still learning, so was other people. You were learning right with me. I didn't know what the term Niji was, but I listened to my ancestors. And you could pull up 2016 videos of mine, 2016, the year, where I'm stating the word Niji, and I was being obedient. My ancestors said, say that. That was without me even knowing what that was. I was told by my blood ancestors to do this, not by no cult. Not by no Mason group or some type of Shriners, whatever. I'm not into any of that at all. I'm not down with those type of people. They're not even within my circle. I don't have no reason to lie. What do I get out of this? From lying. So this is the reason why not only was I challenging the narrative, I was challenging those people that were regurgitating that narrative. I challenged the mainstream historical narrative, not based off of what you know. I'm going off of what is being taught. When I mean by I'm going off of what they put out there that they claim is historical documentation, when it comes to the transatlantic slave trade, listen, where is the historical documentation? Not some website, not some book, not some newspaper. Where is the historical documentation? Where's the primary source? For example, websites like slavevoyages.org that I exposed years ago. I exposed them so hard that they had to change their website. Top, bottom, because they told on themselves. They told you basically that they made it up. There is no record of the transatlantic slave trade. None. What is available, and that's why I told you that my wife and I's book is called It Was Told in Reverse, and it's still out, by the way. It Was Told in Reverse was the fact that our people came from here to populate land masses in West Africa. That's documented. Not only by the National Archives, that's within their own records. The Virginia Company of London, the London Company. and so much more. In my intro that I'm playing, I showed you one of them. I said, this is the second time it was changed. I'm going to show you all something. These are the manuscripts of the Virginia Company of London. Look closely at the word here. I'm saying it verbatim. It says 20 and odd Negroes, the West Indies. They're talking about people of the West Indies. That's where they got them from. That's where they were going back and forth. That's documented in their own manuscripts. I've been doing this for years. That's why those ones that claim that they have some type of credibility when it comes to academics in that field, they don't want to come up on my platform, get on camera with me, and we go toe to toe. Not one time will you see them step up. Not one time. They are afraid of what I'm going to pull up. They don't know what I have. They only see what I put out. Keep that in mind. What I make public is what I can say, all right, boom, this is what it is. What I'm holding for me, gatekeeping in a way, waiting for someone to step up and say something. And say, hey, Dane, I want to debate you. I have such and such credentials. We put this up, and let's let this historical narrative be put to rest. See, and a lot of people are suffering from confirmation bias, which means when they see that I put up records, they will immediately discredit the records because it doesn't fit their narrative. And it's not like I'm getting it from another website, an article. I'm pulling up historical documentation. There wasn't nobody talking about the ocean gyres but me. That, and it's more than just that, but that fact alone debunks the transatlantic slave trade. Debunks it. This picture, that's impossible. You can't even do that right now. Keep in mind, if all of these people who were enslaved were at the bottom of the boat, and we talk about 90 days that you out on the water, going from treacherous weather conditions, where are you hiding at? To save yourself and keep the boat steered in the direction you need to go to. Where are you? You downstairs with them? So many loopholes in American history. So many. This is why I continuously challenge it. And again, the Trump administration blatantly attacked Black history for that reason. It's not because they want to get rid of it, as some of you may think. They're trying to correct it. See, it has to turn into something that we want. Our story was never told from our mouths, right? Hold on, I'm gonna come back to this example. Remember that time when I told y'all that the term Black, I'm about to show y'all something, that the term Black was derogatory in the 50s and the 60s? And then they politically flipped the script and made the college students and those who were of the political field get with the college students to manipulate them into going from freedom now, with Martin Luther King's movement, into Black power, right? And I showed you, what's Lafayette's first name? Mr. Lafayette, Elder Lafayette. What's his first name? Bernard. I showed you Elder Bernard Lafayette, who was on MLK's team. He was with the SCLC. He was with SNCC. He was high up in the rank, and he told you, and I put that on screen, that was derogatory. And shout out to the rapper, the artist, Duke Deuce from Memphis. Shout out to Memphis, by the way. Shout out to him because he been putting this on his Instagram too. He been putting this in his music too. He know that we are the indigenous people of this landmass. Shout out to everybody that's out there doing that exact same thing. He posted this video up.
Question about back in the day. So they say I saw a video where somebody was saying
shout out to the brother. Hold on, let me give not only props to Duke Deuce for posting this. Shout out to Wild Niji Knowledge for posting this on TikTok. Now listen to this, y'all. Listen.
Question about back in the day. So they say I saw a video where somebody was saying that back in the days, if you was called black, then that was like a derogatory.
It was.
It was.
You couldn't call me black. You couldn't call.
Stop. Hold up.
Set it on fire. 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 Fire.
Talk to me. Hold on. One more. Hold on. Let the elder say
Question
it again.
about back in the day. So they say I saw a video where somebody was saying that back in the days, if you was called black, then that was like a derogatory.
It was.
It was.
You couldn't call me black. You can call me Afro-American. You can call me nigger. You can call me Negro.
Right.
You couldn't call me color.
Right.
Because I said everybody got color.
Right.
So how you gonna call me color? I'm a human being.
Right.
And you address me as a human being. Because
Right.
I'm a child of a king.
Right.
I should tell them that. And I said, you're gonna address me accordingly.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't know.
I refuse to this day. I don't accept none of
Those terms?
No.
Right.
If they put it on my application, I refuse to put it up there.
Yeah, I put your muscle.
That's
up
right.
There. I don't.
I would tell you how crazy I am. I'm from the soil of this land.
Right.
And that's all I'm putting up there.
Right.
Amen to that. That's where the Creator created me. He said, from dust you came and dust I'm going to return.
Right.
Well, that's what I believe.
Right.
Talk to your elder. What'd I say? What'd I say? What'd I say? I told you. Shout out to Wanagi again. He said genealogy is the key. I've been telling you that genealogy is the most important thing ever. You have been lied to about your history. The only people that are going to know about your history are the elders of your family members, not some foreigner from a different landmass. Yeah. Not somebody that's of another foreign territory that's not foreign to North America, that does share the same skin complexion as you and I, coming out talking about some we all African here. Not them. They don't know you. And I was the one telling you, I dare you to talk to your family. I dare you to become the investigative researcher of your family, to find out what was documented about your family individually. Everybody's story is different. And look, not everybody is indigenous to this landmass. You may be mixed with those Europeans, right? It's best that you find out. It's best that you know. Because once you know, then you realize what this fight is about. Another person I want to shout out on Instagram is Aboriginal B. Aboriginal B, shout out to you, brother, always showing love. Matter of fact, let me drop a bomb for all of y'all that be doing it. Okay, I see y'all. Don't get me wrong. Y'all know I see y'all. And y'all doing y'all thing, and y'all always showing love, and I appreciate that. Firm handshakes to the fellas, big hugs to the sisters. Listen, Aboriginal B posted this video, and you know I even have a series on what this guy's about to say right in the beginning on my channel right now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. See, they were talking. I gave you the documentation.
More importantly, you're a person of color. You're no longer a Nipmuc person. And that shows through in these county histories and also in the census records at the time. You find a person described in the 1860 census as an Indian. In the 1870 census, they're described as a person of color.
Stop. Hold up. Right there.
More
Again.
importantly, you're a person of color. You're no longer a Nipmuc person. And that shows through in these county histories and also in the census records at the time. You find a person described in the 1860 census as an Indian. In the 1870 census, they're described as a person of color or a colored person. Same person, but the census taker, as part of the white dominant society, decides that this person is no longer Nipmuc.
Stop. I need that that like button to come up, y'all. Do me a favor. Turn that like button up for me, please. Turn that like button up. We in here. We in here. Matter of fact, look, spam. Can y'all spam the chat? Keep spamming emojis. Spam the chat real quick. We in here.
Turn up.
We gonna have fun.
Keep spamming emojis and flatten the chat.
And this still a warm up. We about to get into what I want to talk about here in a second. All of this correlate is all the same thing. You gonna see why. You gonna look. I appreciate you being with me here tonight. I appreciate that. Right now, I see 6,200 people watching. 6,200, I appreciate that. I don't know if that's correct or not. Maybe I need to refresh my screen. But on my side, it says 6,200. I appreciate that. That's what the F I'm talking about. Turn up, man.
Emojis and flatten the chat. Turn up. Keep spamming emojis and flatten the chat.
It's not a game. It's not a game. So those that's way in the back and couldn't hear,
More
one more
importantly,
time.
You're a person of color. You're no longer a Nipmuc person. And that shows through in these county histories and also in the census records at the time. You find a person described in the 1860 census as an Indian. In the 1870 census, they're described as a person of color or a colored person. Same person, but the census taker, as part of the white dominant society, decides that this person is no longer Nipmuc.
See, and you got to understand that this happened nationally. This happened in every single state, not just in Virginia, not just in Maryland, not just in the Carolinas, not just in Texas, not just in Cali, not just in Georgia, not just in Kentucky. Listen, not just in New York, not just in New Jersey, not just in Wyoming, not just in Oklahoma, not just in Memphis, Tennessee, This happened nationwide, especially to us on the East Coast. The East Woodland Indians got reclassified and then misclassified. And shout out to the Mississippi Indians. Shout out to the mound builders. We all family. We all family. We might be of different tribes, but we all family. We all here. We been here. All right. So, hold on. Wait, man, what was I at? Because, hold on. See, now. It's one of them. See, now, okay, it's not about proving shit. We already proved this. Now, of course, I'm going to still put out this information, and I'm sure my wife is still going to do it. The brothers and sisters out there doing their thing with the clips, they going to be doing it. Shout out to Aboriginal B. Y'all going to know. The people that be doing the podcast, everybody that be doing their thing, that be trying to put this information out to wake our people up. It's working. I can tell you that right now. It's working. It's more people that realize they have been lied to this day and age about their history, dealing with their bloodline. It's way more people right now, this day and age, that are fully aware that they have been lied to about who they are and where their people came from. See? This is about, like, for example, I know everybody want to get to the solution. Think about this. This is the solution. You have to know what or who you are so you can understand the proper reason why we are fighting for what we are fighting for. See, keep in mind, there's people out there thinking that we deserve reparations only, and that's it. It's people that's like me, that's like, yeah, we deserve money, but this is our land.
Set it on fire.
Do you understand me?
Fire.
And the land is more valuable than any piece of paper that you put in front of us that's green, that you hold up as valuable. You understand what I'm saying? This is the fight. And again, you can't get mad at Trump for trying to correct a wrong. You should encourage Trump and his administration to say, hey, look, Trump, let's add this into the curriculum. Let's add that into the curriculum. You step up and give him what you want your children to be taught, instead of relying on these foreigners that don't know nothing about you here. Nothing. A genealogy DNA test, foreigner. That professor in your college most likely is a foreigner. More than likely. Some of them don't know no better. I'm not knocking them, but those that do are nothing but goofies. Nothing but goofies. And they smiling in your face thinking they doing something. Meanwhile, they barely hitting $70,000 a year. They believe they got hired through DEI. They getting the fair shot. Meanwhile, they're taxing their tail hard as hell. They barely living from paycheck to paycheck. Talking about something. They got an education. Tooting their own horn as if it mean something. As if they mean well. I know better than that. It's so bad that they had to get the celebrities involved, y'all. Let me show y'all this real quick. So, what happened was, there's a movie called Number One on the Call Sheet. It's a documentary called Number One on the Call Sheet. It's starring Jamie Foxx. The movie is based around the stories of leading Niji men and women in Hollywood. Listen, it's based around the stories of the leading Niji men and women, Niji, in Hollywood. What do you mean leading? Leading what? Number one, what are you leading in Hollywood? Don't make me go there. Don't make me go there. But let's play this real quick.
Why did you feel like you needed to do this right now? Man, look what's going on out there, man. They trying to erase everything we do. I'm like, man, what we do to y'all? Like, it's crazy. It's like, they talking about the DEI and on the affirmative. We don't need black history. So why are you picking on our history? So you just do more history.
What makes you think that they picking on our history? See, our people are failing at recognizing what is happening. If Trump is telling you that that's propaganda, that that's misinformation, that should raise a red flag to let you know, wait a minute, If something's wrong with the education, what makes you think it's nothing? Who out there believes that there's nothing wrong with the education that we're receiving inside of these compulsory institutions? Who? And you falling right back in the trap by following these so-called celebrities like Jamie Foxx, for example. Hey, but I feel the same way. Why they gotta touch Black history? Number one, the term Black was derogatory. It shouldn't even be called Black history. The term Negro was derogatory. It shouldn't even be called Negro Week. It was working against you the entire time, just like DEI. DEI was working against you the entire time. It didn't work out in your benefit. Affirmative action was supposed to work in your benefit, but it never did. They got rid of the person that created it. Affirmative action, didn't they? Because they knew that he was going to make it go the way it was supposed to go, right? They got rid of him. Not for that reason only, but in turn, once they got rid of him, it flipped. Don't fall for these so-called celebrated Hollywood puppets into making you think that they are erasing your history on purpose. Because what they told you about your history is all a lie.
Why did you feel like you needed to do this right now? Man, look what's going on out there, man. They trying to erase everything we do. I'm like, man, what we do to y'all? Like, it's crazy. It's like, they talking about the DEI and the affirmative. We don't need Black history. So why are you?
Again, it's not coming after the people. It's coming after the information that was given. Not the people, not the so-called Black people, the information that was given. That was a problem. Trump and his administration called it out, and so did I, numerous times. It's a big problem. If you want to solve a problem, you have to begin at the very root of the problem. They gave you roots, didn't they? Talk to me. Didn't they give you roots and told you that was about your people? Starting at the root of the problem. In fact, let me finish the other video, and I'm going to start it from the top, goddammit.
They wanted you to believe the false narrative that Europeans captured enslaved Africans from parts of Africa, an unfamiliar landmass to them, and forced them onto boats known as slave ships that never existed either.
I want you to see how simple it is.
The quality of your life is based on the quality of the questions you ask. Comprehending how could they have survived the treacherous conditions of the Atlantic Ocean given the seasonal weather variations, and the Volta do Mar Largo, which this phrase means turn of the White Sea, referring to the oceanic rotation of the ocean's current, which is known as an ocean gyre, which sits in the way of them attempting to travel across the Atlantic. It's like a tornado in the ocean that will sink anything in its path underwater. Stop giving these people credit for something that they didn't do. The transatlantic slave trade story that you were told is incorrect, because if it were correct, then they will be lost at sea, making the accomplishment of that task merely impossible. Just like the idea that they were packed tightly on these ships with no room for food raises questions about how could they endure such a journey, which would take upwards of 90 days or more in one direction, without dying from hunger, as there will be little to no space for provisions. Also, the lack of access to fresh water would mean that they could not survive as well, as they could not drink seawater. They will be affected by the rotten smell of dead bodies, just as they will be by the odor of urine and bowel movements.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Yep, the foreigners tricked people into believing this lie that some other group of immigrants from another continent are the natives of this land. To learn more about this, be sure to pick up the book called It Was Told in Reverse, The Untold Truth About the Transatlantic Slave Trade Story. Mind you, they refer to America as the land of the free and home of the brave, right? One may assume that this line from the Star-Spangled Banner refers to the indigenous people of America. However, it exposes what foreigners wanted America to eventually become, which is a landmass for immigrants who are seeking asylum or a better opportunity to raise their immigrant families that were previously running from the inhumane conditions of enslavement of their original countries. Why do you think they forced you to learn and sing this anthem in school in the first place? Why do you think the immigration issue persists today in America? Who do you believe is replacing you in your housing communities, access to bank loans, civil rights, and higher job positions? This situation is nothing new, people. Do you actually believe that the true indigenous people of America would gift and crown the enemy with an indigenous headdress? You must have fallen somewhere and bumped your head to think we would do this. You know better than that, don't you? By the way, the Africans didn't do this either. They made that bow and kiss their feet. Remember?
He allegedly dead now. Could have died years ago.
You better stop playing goofy and around and
straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right.
All that you see that takes place in New Orleans is about honoring the indigenous traditions of the Niji of Turtle Island, who were historically barred from celebrating their identity. This issue was not confined to New Orleans. The suppression of indigenous identity occurred nationwide. This situation escalated quickly once Walter Plecker and the Virginia Assembly took action to alter vital records, purposely changing the identities of indigenous Indians of Turtle Island to reflect those of immigrants arriving from other continents. Of course, the U.S. government supported this damaging transformation of identity across the nation, believing it would facilitate land acquisition and farming opportunities for the arriving immigrant families.
See there?
And it did, which pushed our people into the inner cities, uncommonly known as reservations, which we call today hoods or previously ghettos or the projects.
I was raised in the projects.
What up, Pat?
The Plecker era was truly one of the darkest times for Native people in Virginia. But I think it's critical for us to think about what was the genesis of the ideology that Plecker was a proponent of. And it's really the eugenics movement. The eugenics movement was a pseudo-scientific movement. We say pseudo-scientific today because we find that the science that they were proposing.
PhD, College of William and Mary, Department of Anthropology. Danielle Langholtz. Listen.
The eugenics movement was a pseudo-scientific movement. We say pseudo-scientific today because we find that the science that they were proposing is not what we today would honor as scientific in any way. The eugenics movement has a direct link to the descendants of Charles Darwin. They somehow made the leap to these notions about racial purity. What is best for each race is racial purity. Plecker and his friends convinced the Virginia legislature to adopt very restrictive legislation in 1924. It's called the Racial Integrity Act. With this legislation, it was decreed that there were only two possible categories. One is white, which means a person, you check that you're white if you have white ancestry, Caucasian ancestry, and absolutely nothing else. The other category is everybody else, and that's colored. So this was very hard on Virginia's indigenous community because, in a sense, it wipes away their identity on paper, their ability to describe themselves as Indian was not possible.
Again.
To describe themselves as Indian was not possible.
Again.
To describe themselves as Indian was not possible.
Listen. That's not being taught in school. That's not being taught in your colleges and universities neither. And you want to keep Black history around? You understand what I'm saying now? So not only did it erase our identities, that erased everything. It streamlined, erasing everything. The history, the culture, the traditions, our practices, our spiritual practices, our beliefs, our languages. Here. And keep in mind, it's still around. We just don't acknowledge that it's ours. Look how much gripe that we got for acknowledging that hip hop was ours. Everybody else that wanted to fit in made sure they inserted themselves in, right? Knowing that's indigenous to this landmass here. All of the dances that we do, like shout out to DC, we call it beat our feet, beat your feet. Ooh, I was about to curse. Listen, when we listening to go-go, you understand what I'm saying, Slim? And we beating our feet, that's an indigenous dance. We already doing it. Shout out to Memphis. I think they call it bucking. I could be, everybody got their own name of it, of their dance. You understand what I'm saying? And that's from Cali to DC. You understand what I'm saying? That's everywhere. That's everywhere. Yeah, juking. That juking. My fault, Memphis. My fault, Memphis. That's called juking. That's right. That's right. But I'm just saying, we've been doing this. And notice how we not acknowledging that that's us culturally. And when we do, we giving it to some Africans. For example, when we beating on drums, because I can't name a brother out there that don't got no 12s or above in the back of their trunk right now, because we love the beat of the drum. Each of my cars got a system in it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care what the lyrics saying. I want the I don't care. I don't care what it say. I want to hear that bass line. We vibrate with that bass line. That's a spiritual thing. So when you see them so-called Native Americans beating on the drum and they just slapping it one time, you know we was getting busy on that drum. You understand what I'm saying? I played the congos and the bongos and the drum set professionally. My mother in the chat, she could attest to that. And shout out to my sister, because we was always in the drums. Shout out to Abasi, our drum instructor. I was on the timbales and all that. That go-go music ain't African. That's indigenous to this landmass. I'm going to put out a video on that too. I'm going to straighten some of y'all out. Get ready for that. You see my mother confirming? This ain't no joke. I don't got no reason to lie. This is us, and we've been giving it to other people. This whole time. They want us to wear their clothing. and call that the Mela Gallery as an example, right? Oh, show off some other people's work. But notice how they always using our people to do it. We look the best in it. Anything that we do, anything that we touch is fire. You understand what I'm saying? Anything. We are the trendsetters. We are the chosen people. They know that. But you don't. That's the problem. And then you want to complain about Trump getting rid of our history when our history not even in there. They're not telling you who created the teleprompter. They're not telling you who created the traffic light. They're not telling you who created the cell phone. They're not telling you who created the internet. They're not telling you who created the microwave. They're not telling you who created the vehicle. They're not telling you who created cable, the internet, Wi-Fi. Listen, where you think they got it from? But they hurried up in 1791 and created the patent office. So whatever you do that you invent, they're going to hurry up and patent it and say that it's theirs. They've been doing fraud shit since 1790. They ain't teaching you that in school, huh? No, they not. The only way you're going to know that is if your teacher, your professor, tells you that verbally. Put that book to the side and say, listen, class, I got to tell y'all something about our people. Now, hold on. Listen to me. I need to tell y'all something. These books ain't telling y'all the real deal. I'm here to tell you the real deal. Shout out to those teachers and those professors that be keeping it real. We always got a batch of them, but it'd be a small batch, unfortunately, that has to change. Each and every one of us got to speak up. You talking about an activist. What activity are you doing that's changing something, that's working in our favor? For example, this civil rights activist going to be mad that I'm getting ready to play because the so-called Black history being erased. Here we go.
Reva, with a cultural emergency check-in. Right now, there's a troubling movement taking foot, one that is targeting our beloved and precious spaces. See, the word is Donald Trump and his allies are going after African-American museums, including the one at the Smithsonian. And see, all of this is about payback.
What makes you think that, no, and that's a lie, but what makes you think that the Smithsonian got our back? See, y'all gonna be claiming that y'all so educated about your history, but you don't even know Smithsonian's history here. They own 21 museums and 16 research facilities. And they keeping your records on hold. And they keeping your records on hold. They know who you are. They just don't want to tell you. Because of who Smithsonian is ran by. So the Trump administration came at the Smithsonian and all its museums because they've been lying. But you don't know that, right?
For the removal of Confederate statues. Yes, payback. Let that sink in.
That's
cap. They're coming for our history, our truth, and our legacy. And we all know.
And then it'd be our own people that don't know that we were heavily involved in the Confederate Army. It was nothing but our people in the Confederate Army. Nothing but fought and died for that flag here. And our people are linking it to the KKK. And that wasn't even their flag. I put that out there. That's a whole documentary on my channel already. That wasn't even their flag. Their flag was the USA flag, the so-called Star-Spangled Banner. It wasn't the Confederate flag. Multiple indigenous tribes had that Confederate flag before that new Confederacy was created. It was a previous Confederacy already existing. And their names were on the flag. Shout out to the Chickamauga. And their names were on the flag. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 That was your people this entire time. But they gave it to some white folk. The KKK was nothing but a group of foreigners that was fighting for nationalism amongst their own people. That's where it started as, before it expanded into what it eventually became after it was infiltrated. I'm going to put out a full segment on them. But our people don't know about this stuff. Why? It's not inside the school curriculum. So they're regurgitating what they're familiar with and what they're comfortable with teaching or stating. Falling into a deeper hole without a way to climb up out of it. See, this is where we come in at. Because I'm not about to try to leave my brothers and sisters behind because they don't know. But if they choose to turn the other cheek, we don't need you. But let me pick up my brothers and sisters that want to do the right thing, that want to know the right thing, that wants to get revenge for what they did to our ancestors, that wants to see greatness through when it comes to our people, breaking the curse that their God allegedly placed on our people by way of their scriptures that they wrote in order to colonize the land. We were not cursed by God. We didn't do anything wrong. They did, and they made you believe that you did something wrong because you subscribe to their ideology. God didn't write Deuteronomy. You are not cursed. The reason why you're still enslaved now is because the chains are on your brains. Break them. It's that simple. The only key that can break those chains on your brain is you taking back control of how you think. My slogan, I'm just here to make you think. My full slogan is I'm just here to make you think for yourselves again. Trump's slogan, make America great again, right? I'm not a Trumper. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent thinker. When I see fraud, I'm going to call it out. When I see great things, I'm going to showcase it. The reason why both sides reached out to me and my team is because they see I'm doing something right. And they want that to be a part of what they have going on. I have a lot of OGs within my circle that got my back, my front and my sides, that said, Dane, that's the right move. If they willing to put your stuff inside of their curriculums, do it. I got the blessing from my ancestors. I said, all right, okay, let's see what's going to happen. And it's shaking it up. And meanwhile, it be your own people. Y'all know that saying? It be your own people. It be your own people that don't know. Look at how they causing the confusion and the division. Right then and there. You immediately turning your nose up because you could be a low-key Democrat. 1. 2, you think this got something to do with Trump only. This is beyond Trump. This is Trump's second. There is a long history of this foreign government doing our people wrong. And they should be held accountable. And they have not been held accountable. Y'all been fighting for reparations. Uh-oh. Whoa. Are they shutting me off? YouTube shutting me off. YouTube shutting it down. Hold up. Oh, I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm in the green everywhere. They trying to shut me off. That's not me hitting it offline. That's not me. That's not me. My internet is top notch. Down and upload speed. That's YouTube doing that. That's not me. That's YouTube doing that. Okay, now YouTube is, see? Look, come on. Like, okay, if I was wrong, why are they so worried about me? If I was wrong, why are they so worried about me? Why are they so scared? Why they gotta send their little handlers to me? What's going on? If I was wrong, they shouldn't be worried about me. I shouldn't be on their radar. They shouldn't be bringing up my name. They shouldn't be constantly talking about me per se without bringing up my work. Dane Calloway shouldn't even be in their vocabulary. If I was wrong. That's them doing that. That's not me. That's them. Just that alone, just question it. I'm not saying believe me. Just question it. If they attacking my channel, 6,200 people watching, why? Why? Why you think they doing that? Just question it.
No, that museums like these aren't just buildings. They are living proof that we built this country. They tell our story, the real story, ones that they've been trying to erase for centuries. Now, if they can take down our museum.
Wait, what? Listen to what she just said.
This is about payback for the removal of Confederate statues. Yes,
Wrong.
Payback. Let that sink in. See, they're coming for our history, our truth, and our legacy. And we all know that museums like these aren't just buildings. They are living proof that we built this country. They tell our story, the real story.
Stop. They tell our story, the real story. Her name is, hold up. And I will gladly have a debate with her and this other guy I'm getting ready to play. Her name is Arva Martin, Esquire. So she's a lawyer. I dare you to get on my channel. and we have a debate about this. I dare you. That will be the topic. I dare you. You a whole sellout. Don't even know what you're talking about. You just assuming. And just in case y'all thinking I'm getting on sisters,
It's been over a month,
doing the same
and we are
thing.
still waiting to hear back from Education Secretary Linda McMahon about whether teaching Black history classes would violate Donald Trump's executive order against so-called radical indoctrination.
Wait, he called it radical indoctrination. That should be alarming to you. That should be alarming. You're not just going to say that for no reason. Indoctrination? That's not alarming?
When asked about this during her confirmation hearing back in February, McMahon said, quote,
I'm not quite certain, and I'd like to look into it further and get back to you on that.
yes, please, do get back to us on that. Donald Trump is waging an all-out assault on Black history, trying to muddle our collective memory of the Black freedom struggle as part of his effort to suppress any and all political dissent. In late March,
See, you got to understand, like I said that the so-called Black Power movement was nothing but a CIA psyop. I told you that. I've been proved it multiple times and can do it again with ease. The majority of those people became so-called political figures inside of a government that was controlling them. If they were all about what they say they were about, the NAACP would have had us on top by now. The NAACP came before the Black Power movement. If they were about what they say they was about, we would have been in a better position by now. A lot of those people sold our people out. And some of them were not even from this landmass.
Trump signed an executive order claiming that a revisionist movement has been trying to rewrite U.S. history to portray the country as inherently racist. Late March, Trump signed an executive order
Trump's executive order to seeks to restore American history through Smithsonian overhaul. Restore, not remove, restore. Making it come from our mouths. We tell our story, not some fabricated one that they created.
Claiming that a revisionist movement has been trying to rewrite U.S. history to portray the country as inherently racist, sexist, oppressive, and otherwise irredeemably flawed.
It was that. They did do that. And they did that by way of the newspapers. When I exposed the newspapers, and the Niji newspapers out there always had a different narrative from the other newspapers out there that were being politically utilized in order to showcase that was going on at that time. And then pictures came and it made it even worse because they gave a description of what the picture was about and made the people use their imagination into thinking that racism was on a larger scale than what it was at that time. I remember multiple segments of mine that I put out. I explained why the majority of our people did not experience what you would think they did when it came to racism, especially at that time. Not to say that Jim Crow didn't exist. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you that not everybody went through the exact same thing. It depends on where you were located. Those people of their political agenda pulled people from those states that were experiencing racism in order to get that narrative across, to make it seem like that was happening nationwide, and it wasn't. It just was not. They even came out and told you, I showed you videos of them talking about that era back then, them admitting that that's not what they were going through. That's still on my channel, coming out of their own mouth. In fact, if you want to learn more about that, the name of one of the videos that I'm referring to is called The Breach of the Civil Rights Movement. The Breach of the Civil Rights Movement. Go check that one. You're going to see what I'm talking about.
To present his glorious and triumphant version of U.S. history, Trump announced that the U.S. government will be doing some revision of its own with the takeover of the Smithsonian Museum, while federal agencies carry out a general gutting of Black history acknowledgments.
We never benefited from Black History Month at all. The only people that benefited from Black History Month were those that were large corporations. Target, Walmart, YouTube, and everybody else that was a large corporation that seeked to gain like some type of monetary gain from it. It was a monetary notion attached to that. And our people fell for that. You thought you was getting stuff for sale, and meanwhile it was the same price. But they used it against our people. And what was our people doing? Buying. We weren't selling. We didn't benefit from that. I'm talking about throughout the whole month. Not even a day, throughout the whole month. They were doing that. That's what it turned into. They made it a holiday for a whole month because they knew that they could maximize their sales by making it seem as if they were all for Black History Month. They were just for the profit. And they fatten their pockets up every single year. Notice how this year, since Trump did that executive order, not one large company did anything for Black History Month. Not one. Because they were taking advantage of our people. And Trump was exposing that. Well, his administration was. I said that numerous times, so have other people. Now you're seeing it from a political perspective because of that's a part of their agenda within his administration. They're exposing that it was people taking advantage of you. Not only by way of the Black History Month sales, but also the Black History Month stories, the lies. DEI on top of that.
Events and websites. We already saw a glimpse of this when the National Park Service drastically edited its webpage on the Underground Railroad, erasing the militancy of its most famous conductor, Harriet Tubman.
Stop. Even though they retracted this, I rubbed it in their faces. It's like, Dane, you not working with the Trump administration? I said, oh yeah? Say less. I'm the only one that told you Harriet Tubman wasn't real. And I told you about the Underground Railroad, put all this stuff out. I said, you think that ain't me? Say no more. And they got mad. Woo! They got mad. The National Park Service, now we going through a battle right now. I'm not going to go in too much detail. We're going through a little battle with them right now to get that removed, by the way. But they took that down. Now listen, since they did take that down, eventually they retracted it because they were up under the pressure, so much pressure from the Democrats, who just so happen to be so-called Black, by the way, and be your own people, okay? If she was real, the National Park Service wouldn't have got rid of it. From the get-go. Fire. So I just dangled it in your faces that, yeah, we in there. We in there. Don't worry about it. Because she ain't the big problem. It's a major problem bigger than this character, this fictional character. They're using other people's pictures telling you that that's Harriet Tubman. Yeah, that anybody going to attach themselves to a hero. I always say, I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I always say that I'm Batman, and you gonna always say that you was related to Harriet Tubman, and never prove it. It's the same thing. I ain't gonna go too far into it, but yeah, I just dangled it in your faces. That's all. Everybody was like, yeah, why would he say that? Why would he say that she's not real? Because I proved it. Her and Nat Turner. I was mad that they did that. You think I was doing that on purpose? I wasn't going in looking for, documentation exposing the fact that Nat Turner wasn't real. That wasn't my agenda. I came in there looking for documentation on Nat Turner, traveled there so I could get the real deal. On numerous occasions, by the way. And once I found out I think that was a total of 5 years with Nat, and it was 4.5 with Harriet Tubman. Once my wife and I got them records, it was over. Both of them, Act of Congress. Sarah Bradford for Geneva created that story from Geneva. When I exposed that years ago, do you know they had to put some websites out there and talk about some she from Geneva in New Jersey or something? I was like, no, it's too late. Because she already wrote it down that she was from Geneva, Switzerland. We got the documentation. You can't change that now. And we put it in the book. You can't change it now. And Thomas Rutherford Gray with Nat Turner. And I showed you how he got that from the Richmond Whig newspaper. And Turner wasn't even his last name. And Thomas Rutherford Gray came out by act of Congress when he was trying to copyright that story so he could sell it as a book because he was a gambler and lost all his money and wanted to make his money back. He said that Turner was an alias that he created. That's not Dane Calloway making that up. That's their own record. Yeah, so I dangled this part in front of your face just to let you know that we there. We here. We ain't finished. We're just getting started.
The most basic definition of the Underground Railroad as resistance to enslavement through escape and flight was out. Instead, we got a new sentence that read, to obtain autonomy, freedom seekers needed to strategize about which opportunity worked best for their situation.
Let this sink in. To obtain autonomy for their lives, for themselves and their loved ones, freedom seekers needed to strategize about which opportunity worked best for their situation. You mad at that? Keep in mind, if you disagree with that, you belittling your own people into believing that they didn't have a choice. Y'all got on Kanye West for claiming that slavery was a choice. Y'all got on him about that. What makes you think that any of this wasn't a choice? You have a choice to sell your people out. You have a choice whether to go to college or university. You have a choice whether to pay your bills. You have a choice whether to settle down with that woman and get her pregnant before you marry her. You have a choice as to what religion you want to choose. Don't get me started. I told you, and I exposed it numerous times, that the Underground Railroad was the pneumatic transit. That was their way of travel. And it's still there, historically, still there. Tracks that they aligned with the original tracks that were already there prior to these Asians that they want to give the credit to, and the Europeans. Those train tracks was there for years, all around America. And we traveled through the mounds and mountains by way of the same transportation system. It wasn't about hiding up under some basement of a house. It was about going underground tunnel. See, they don't want you to know that was an underground tunnel. Why? Because they using them now. Remember that video where I exposed the underground tunnel that was still being utilized today right up under LA? And that was just one location. And I'm talking about the ones where I was talking about the wildfires. And I was saying how those high-ranking officers and all those actors and actresses and political figures were hiding up under those underground tunnels. Well known, by the way, it's still happening. And they were doing stuff with children. Look, the people that allegedly come over here illegally, are they hopping the fence or are they coming from underground? Look, the people that allegedly come to America illegally, are they hopping a fence or are they coming from underground? Give us the link. Levante, can you link that video for me, please? The one on that was wait a minute. Let me go to my channel so I can know the name of that, because I did a couple of videos on LA. Hold on 1 second. Let me give it to you. It is, let me see. The one where it says, ooh, it could be either one of these. I think it's the one that says they were laser focused on this movie, or the one that says they got caught burning the evidence in 4K. It's either one of those. It's one of those. It's one of those. It was 3 months ago. I can tell you that. It's on the channel. It was 3 months ago. I appreciate that, Levante. And brother, I can't remember your name and went across real quick. Just he's gonna post it. You'll see it. Give him a second. Okay. All right, so let me hold on, wait a minute.
I mean, we're talking about real freedom fighters, but this language makes it sound like they were sprucing up their LinkedIn page or something. When media reports were published calling this out, the pages were quickly restored with their original language. Next in the crosshairs is the popular National Museum of African American History and Culture, a Smithsonian institution that not only has materials detailing the horrors of slavery, but also educates on radical figures and events like the Haitian Revolution, the Black Power Movement, Malcolm X, and Paul Robeson. Will they survive Trump's attempt to whitewash?
They will survive. We're not going, that's not, no, stop that, stop that. We're not going to be getting rid of the stories of freedom fighters, those that stood up like Malcolm. We're not doing that. That's not what it's about. It's correcting the narrative. That's all. Of course, we're not going to get rid of Malcolm. Are you serious? We're not getting rid of Malcolm X. You out your mind?
American history? But look, you can scrub a webpage, but you can't scrub the memories of a people who know their past, who know how the rights of
That's cap. You don't know your past. That's the whole point. You still calling yourself black. If you knew your past, you wouldn't call yourself black right now. Just 1950, 1960, the black term was derogatory. You don't know your past if you're referring to yourself as a derogatory term. Meanwhile, we still calling each other the N-word all day long. And that was always a derogatory term. African American is a misnomer. Your people weren't born in Africa. Talking about something you know your history. Don't give me that.
People were hard won through massive and brave social movements that faced down the government and its unjust laws. You can shut down a museum, but you can't shut down the people's determination to tell the truth.
Exactly. I agree with that part. Exactly. And we're going to tell the truth regardless of what you want to believe, because it's not based on what you believe. It's based on what you know. It's about what you know, based upon what you can actually prove. I'm back. Are we good? Hold up, hold up. We good, right? Chat, we good? Y'all can still hear me? I see YouTube getting the shaking. We straight? Okay. Okay. All right, so all right, let me do my shout outs because I don't want nobody to think I'm crazy here. Hold up. Before we move on, because there was a lot of people fight. Matter of fact, let me do this right now. Where is my music? Hold up. Okay. Shout out to Don J with the 5 gifted. Shout out to Blue Dreamer with the 5 gifted. Shout out to Blue. What up, Blue? To Real, thank you for becoming a member. Let me drop a bomb. Yeshua, thank you for becoming a member. Don't think I don't know what time it is. I am. Don't think I don't know what time it is. You understand me? Erica, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Marvetta, thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to those new subscribers too. I see y'all. Kalahari, 35 months in a row. Let's get it.
Fire.
Kalahari also donated. I thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. You said OCO. OCO family.
Free thinkers.
Swin, thank you for becoming a member. And Broke 8, thank you for becoming a member as well. Malcolm, thank you for the super chat. You said much love, brother. We need to do our own family research and stop letting strangers decide what we know and find out for us. Thank you.
Fire.
What up, Malcolm? Absolutely, Malcolm. Hey, Clinton, thank you for the membership as well, Clinton. Mohawk, I am. What up, sister OCO? 39 months in a row.
Fire.
All right. So let's get into it. Let's do this next segment. Y'all ready? Now y'all can turn up. Come on.
Turn up. Keep spamming emojis, she flat in the chat. Hey.
All right. Yeah. I'm excited.
America isn't a nation. The United States is a corporation. Genocide is controlling your 5 senses by administration. People devouring into acceptance of whatever the cook is making. Minority populations still suffer from decorative illumination. Mind manipulation defines crowd participation. Enemies writes history and deems it our information. Popular news stations tell you what's popping and who's hating, when them scripted opinionated jokers just jocking them Jews statements. It's storming yet by them foreign jets spraying them chaff bustles in the air without care of affecting the land's muscles and human tissues. And fake news is new issues to those who chose to hold on to old issues. Perhaps you agree to be free and live your life, but that's only if you choose to believe in living right. Cause even while you sleep, they depleted the bombs on you. You ain't woke now, then keep an alarm on you. Hey, look. Ain't no chucking, no jiving, no ducking, no hiding, no telling on people that's under assignment. Those are them people that fucked up our climate, changing up everything so you can't find it. Let's focus our people to focus our people, cause most of our people lose hope for our people. We choking the fan by revoking my people. We selling the fan, not promoting my people. You woke up today, it be different tomorrow. Stop or to follow with Lee Leonardo. Police killing innocent like it's they motto. How much more time we gon' take this in sorrow? How many times we go marching for peace? We still got black people that die in the streets. From your brothers or racist police. The war's not us, it's them races he lead. Brother, wake up. Sister, wake up. See, this ain't nothing but shit they made up. Religion is here to manipulate minds. Only books slave masters gave us to read. Only books slave masters gave us to teach. Only books slave masters gave us to preach. Only books slave masters gave us some peace. What they have heaven here on earth. Wake up. Pick your cape up. Pick your face up. This a shake up. No time for makeup. Injustice is a white supremacy. You both affect the melanated people too much. I'ma keep raising my fist to the sky. I'ma keep raising my fist to the sky. This ain't for everybody. This is only for them conscious melanated people.
All right, look. Wait a minute. All right, hold on. So, okay, what I'm about to play, and shout out to y'all, I appreciate that, y'all. When I'm about to play, now YouTube may have a problem with this, but I'm gonna play it anyway because I need y'all to see this. And yeah, I got new music gonna be coming out too. We got some features that y'all gonna love. I done hooked up with a couple of brothers and sisters. We got some new music on the way. I'm just saying. But anyway, so let me play this part right here. I believe this also came from Aboriginal B. Let me double check that. I believe this came from Aboriginal B on Instagram. Shout out to you, brother. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. Y'all can correct me in the chat. But they posted this. And I want to play this. Now, I know YouTube may have an issue with this because it's dealing with one of their partners in crime here. But we go play it anyway. Here we go.
Fox 32 special report, DNA kits called into question. They are the kind advertised on TV claiming to trace your ancestry. A woman says she used 2 different popular services to trace her family history and got wildly different results. Fox 32's Tia Ewing reports.
Hold on, let me make sure. Hold on, because I see the volume is low on my side. Can y'all hear that? Or do I need to hit the boost button? Do I need to boost it up? Was that too low? Hey, press 13 if you want me to boost it up. Type 13 in there, the number 13. If I need to boost it up, type 13. Okay, all right. Okay, let me boost it up real quick. Wait a minute, where's my boost button at? Oh, right here. All right, here we go. So let me start it from the top. Here we go.
Fox 32 special report, DNA kits called into question. They are the kind advertised on TV claiming to trace your ancestry. A woman says she used 2 different popular services to trace her family history and got wildly different results. Fox 32's.
Y'all heard that, right? Let me just make sure. We good? That was better? Yes? Okay. All right, bet. All right, cool. Here we go.
Ewing reports.
This is my mother, my father.
Jennifer Smith says flipping through family albums helps her reconnect with the past.
And I just want to learn as much as I can about my history.
She recently took that learning one step further and decided to try a DNA testing kit.
Ancestry.com, very popular. You know, they're in all of the commercials. Everybody talks about them.
Smith received the kit, followed the directions, and mailed it back.
Just like the lady on TV says, you have to spit in the tube. It's not ladylike, but that's what you do.
Then she waited the 4 to 6 weeks.
And I was shocked.
Smith's breakdown from Ancestry showed 97% European and 2% Asian.
I'm a black girl. I am not a Jewish white lady. I'm
Bless her heart. Oh man. All right, hold on.
Black.
She contacted
hold on.
2% Asian.
I'm a black girl. I am not a Jewish white lady. I'm black. My parents were black.
She contacted Ancestry with questions, but says a rep told her the results are accurate.
She told
Oh no. They told her the results are accurate. Oh no. We know the results incorrect. We know better than that. Lord have mercy. And if she done spent $399, I wish I could hug the sister. Sister, I apologize that you had to go through that. Lord have mercy. Oh my goodness. Woo!
There was no way they could have made an error.
Smith decided to try.
There was no way they could have made an error. Wait a minute, one more time.
Asian.
I'm a black girl. I am not a Jewish white lady. I'm black. My parents were black.
She contacted Ancestry with questions, but says a rep told her the results are accurate.
She told me there was no way they could have made an error.
Smith decided to try again. The first time she submitted a DNA to 23andMe.
And
look, and here go 23andMe. Now, remember when I told y'all that 23andMe went bankrupt? Hold on.
The 20
But I went live and told y'all that 23andMe went bankrupt. Y'all